Say that I do not believe, even in the slightest, that Museveni got 50% or anything close to that in order to be declared winner. All these people you see here have been my campaign agents from up country. So many of them have come with DR forms from different places of the country, by the way, and just by a number of them tallying results, I know for sure that he did not get 50%, so I know it was a bogus result. But more than that, I also know that there was the whole thing, the whole tally center and all that was all fake. Because what I did is I sent an IT specialist to that place as my agent, and they tried to make sure there are no agents at the tallying center. And I anticipated everything. We made sure he had a COVID certificate before they even asked, because I know that's what they were using all the time. You have a COVID certificate. So we already took him for a COVID test. He had it. He had all the accreditation. They were telling us accreditation is at Hotel Africana. You go there, it's not there. Then eventually we used intelligence to find out that the accreditation was actually at, I think at Serena. So we went and got the accreditation. So eventually I managed to get somebody there who was an IT specialist. He told me there is no way there was internet in that place. So either there were cables connecting to all the districts to bring in those results, or what was being read there was fiction. And of course we know they cannot have cables connecting to all 146 districts. They were saying they're using UTL, but there was no internet in that place. So there is no way they could have been transferring results from up country to that place. So, and even he went ahead to check using IT special, and he saw that the computers from which they were, the cards which they were given as, you know, agents, when he checked, they were coming from just 2 computers away. Okay? 2 computers away. They were not coming from, you know, all over the place. So, and anybody who knows IT know that you can check that there is a trail of where all this information is coming from. You might not be able to get the information, but you know there is a trail of the number of, you know, addresses. But there was none. It was just a trail from 2 places away. So I know for a fact that the results which are read, they are fiction. And that's why they maintain somebody at a certain lead. There is no way in any proper election tallying that somebody can maintain a steady lead. It's not possible. Because when they are tallying from a certain place, somebody's lead goes down. When they are tallying from a place where it's strong, the lead goes up. That's how it is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you know, fluctuating, swinging one way and the other. But somehow it's only in Uganda where the lead starts at one stage and stays there, regardless of where they are tallying. Okay? So when they are tallying in southeastern Uganda, 65%. When they are tallying in other places where the support is not so good, it's the same. So I know now, because he went there, he saw so many things. I'm going to eventually write some of them at a personal level, because there are so many of them for me to speak them out here. But I know for sure that it is all just cooked behind the scenes. Because at some stage, you were even, saying, what am I going to tell the people? What am I going to tell the people? And he said, I told them midnight, I have to be reading the first results. It was 1, he hadn't read the results. So there was bunke. And I'm telling this from somebody who was there. Eh? And probably even who is somewhere around here. I will not tell you who he is, but who was there, who was seeing everything. Then, at 1, finally, the first results come. And predictably, like as it was in 2001, 2006, 2011, 2016, was even at a steady lead, which he starts and maintains there all the while. So now, previously, I was not a witness. Now, I was a witness because I made sure I had people accredited. Now, I know that it's important for us to know this. Somebody asked me, is there democracy in Uganda? Now that I've been through this process. And by the way, I've been a lot more involved. You know, I'm a very intelligent person, and I'm not just saying that. I've been very involved in places where people didn't know I was, and I was running something just to find out something. I knew I was not going to be declared winner, even if people had voted for me. I didn't even expect that I would get 50% of the vote, but I entered for a certain reason. And now I accomplished all that reason to find out exactly what it is that happens in there. And now I know for a fact. So we tried to send our agents to district tally centers. They were not so sharp. Where is your COVID certificate? So we failed to get in any of them. And by the way, even at the National Tally Center, there was only one guy who was Chagulanyi's agent, and he did not have a COVID certificate, but he just had to make a lot of noise for them to allow him. Otherwise, they didn't want him there. But thankfully, he's not an easy person, so he got in there. Then there was Mayambala, presidential candidate, and then there were 2 of my guys. Those were the only people there. The rest were SFC people who were filling spaces as agents. None of them was an agent of any presidential candidate. Then even the agents, they were given one laptop which you were supposed to sit behind, which had only the information which Yabakama is reading. So you might as well have stayed home. Okay? There was no special information that coming from the districts and so on. There was nothing. Okay, it was there. When they read it out there, after it has been cooked from behind, then they give it to you. Then it's there on the screen, just what Yabakama is reading. So it was all fake. And that's how elections are. All fake. Now I know it for a fact that these are how elections are conducted. But I also know at the district tally centers, although I did not have agents there, I had my spies there. That's where actually all the data work is done. After elections come from the polling stations, they go to the district. That's where the DSOs are, the RDCs, who were appointed 3 days before the election, or reshuffled for that reason, depending on where they needed a lot of work. So that's why RDCs are, the DSOs are, the DPCs, and all the people who are attached with the system. Now they are there to ensure that democracy is done, and maybe at the MP level, I would say democracy is maybe like 40%, the will of the people. So some they will let through, others they have to maintain an NRA majority. So it's all booked in that place at the district headquarters. But then I also know for a fact, still through intelligence, that the president gets to know the real numbers of people who voted for him and those who didn't, because he uses them to plan for the next time. So he knows these people here, although according to Yabakama I got 70%, the truth is I got 20%. So he knows what to do in the next 5 years. So these DSOs collect the real figures from the polling stations and take them to the president. They are the only people who know how people actually voted. The rest is cooked and is sent here. Eventually, when they understand a bit of internet, it was sent here to the whatever, after it has been cooked. And it's cooked further behind there. That's why they cannot even post it now. Because they start with the result, a percentage. They are given a target, and you can tell it. All their people are saying the same thing. Museveni is going to get 61%, 61%. Where do you think they got that? Because they have been given a target. They even start predicting, prophesying a victory for what? A percentage victory. So they give them a target. You are supposed to get that. Then they give it. They first give the result. Then they work their way backwards, trying to align polling stations and so on. That's why 2 weeks, close to 2 weeks after the elections, they have not posted anything because they are still cooking. Because if they did, it would be fake and people can see. And now we have some DRA forms. And now here in Kampala, where we try to get DRA forms, they did one thing. The people here who I had said to put DRA forms, and they were not necessarily just for myself, okay? Because there are stations where I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of support, but I put agents there because I wanted to have information. So they made sure they count so slowly, then it's coming to 9, then patrol cars are passing, then they say curfew, if curfew finds you. So all my agents just fled and went home. Okay? And the next day you come and they're giving you, and you can't get a DRA form. So it was all planned in a certain way, and there is no way we could have had an election with this excuse of curfew. And it is not wrong the way this one was. That is the truth. But anyway, that has been my experience, and it's been an interesting one because now I'm not just somebody who is talking. Because I had agents know this, and it cost me money, but I wanted to know something. I wanted to have a first-hand view of what is happening. That's why we put people there, people who came and reported and told me everything that happened. Okay? Everything that happened. First of all, it's so interesting that there is a company which did the voter what do they call it, the biometric the system, which developed that system. I looked the software. I looked at the company, and their work is construction, electrical engineering, and what you go and check on PPDA. Because they have to be registered with PPDA to do business with government. And PPDA, all the companies that are there are registered. So I went and checked. Their first software work was managing Uganda's election. Actually, they started in Kabuleta as dealers in fish farming. Then they came, and now, when I even went and checked out their office, they are in Ntinda on Matters Way. Their clothes are hanged outside. Office, like a residential place with even clothes hanged. You go and check. I will give you the information. Of a company which has just developed a software that managed an election. with 18 million voters. Even on their website, they do not list it. Their website does not have any previous software they have done, or even app or anything, any previous IT thing they have done. They actually listed there on PPDA as movers of heavy equipment and construction. You go and check them out. So, and yet they have now suddenly done a voter system in Uganda that was managing 18 million voters, 18.1 million voters. So the whole thing is fake. And that's why I sent my people there, because they were there not seeing what votes Kabuleta is going to get. Let me tell you, the votes were decided from within East. So instead of spending a lot of money campaign, if I actually was thinking about this election, I would have just paid certain people, and I know them, the people who I would have paid, and tell them at least give me 1%. Because they were distributing them. I can tell you that for a fact. Then they say, this one will give you. It was all decided from there. So, having taken off the share for the SEMAC, which they had decided, the reason they fell below 60 is because they were overwhelmed by the extent of Chagulanyi's support in central Uganda. Then they were informed by those people in the districts that there is no way we shall be able to justify 61%, considering what we have been seeing in this place. So it was reduced to 58%, but it was supposed to be 61. That one I did not refer to, because there was even one of them, I'm not going to mention his name, but I'll write it. Because you know me, I speak things as. He was there telling the EC people, make sure my candidate gets 61%. But in any case, he cannot fall below 60%. And he's there. And he's the one organizing everything. And he's the one who, you know, Ugandan elections are just interesting. You know, when I went after nomination, after I finished nominating, I'm walking out of the tent, and guess whom I see there smiling at me from ear to ear? Balam. So I said that, hey, so we have entered the Chivuru. That now, I thought we were in an election. So the man, and guess who ended the election? By the morning, Friday morning, the day after the election, before even any result from Central Uganda had come in, Balam was there arranging for border people to go and celebrate Museveni's victory. They had not even read 20% of the result. Okay? And he does not speak, you know, unless he's there talking, saying, now latest center, we need to get border people. And that's 20% of the result hasn't been read. So if anybody thinks that there's any democracy in Uganda, let me tell you about democracy in Uganda. And this is where I'm going to end before I take questions. At the lowest level, LC1, LC, you know what, maybe it's like 80% at that level.